No one knows the war you're fighting behind closed doors. They see your calm face, your forced smile, your polite replies. But they don't hear the conversations you have with yourself at 2 a.m. They don't know about the 1,000 silent battles you've already lost before you even got out of bed. People talk about potential like it's a gift. But the truth is, potential is a curse, until you pay the price. Because no one tells you that every ounce of greatness you carry will fight you before it frees you. You want to change your life? Then be ready for pain. Be ready to walk through fire with no applause. Be ready to tear down the version of yourself you've clung to for years, because he's the one standing between you and who you were meant to become. Every single day, life whispers, you could be more. And if you ignore it long enough, it starts screaming. The job feels meaningless. The friendships turn hollow. Your hobbies become distractions instead of passions. That's not depression. That's the death of the old self. But most people never get past that point. They numb it. They drown it in scrolling, food, fantasy, pretending they're okay. They keep polishing the cage instead of breaking it. But not you. You wouldn't be here if you weren't already hearing the call. That voice inside you, it's not noise. It's a signal. And it's not going away. Because you were built for something more than survival. You weren't made to repeat your parents' regrets or society's scripts. You were made to write your own story. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your greatest transformation will begin in your darkest hour. There will come a day when you feel absolutely empty. Not because you're weak. But because your soul is shedding everything it can no longer carry. That's not the end. That's the beginning. The beginning of you burning bridges that lead nowhere. Of saying no to what you've tolerated for too long. Of waking up one day and realizing that if you don't fight for your life, no one will. You will start losing people. You will outgrow environments. You'll begin to question everything you were taught about success, happiness, even love. And it will hurt. God, it will hurt. But the pain is your compass. Because comfort never changed anyone. And the pain you feel right now, that silent ache in your chest, it's proof that you haven't given up. You're still in the fight. And the world isn't going to hand you clarity. It gives you chaos, and waits to see who you become in it. So become the person who can stand in that storm and say, I don't know what's coming next. But I'm done betraying myself. Do you understand how rare that kind of self-honesty is? Most people are so afraid of being uncomfortable, they'd rather live a lie. But not you. Because deep down, you know this truth. No one is coming to save you. But no one can stop you either. When you finally accept that it's all on you, you become dangerous. Not because you're violent. But because you're unshakable. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop explaining your dreams to small minds. You stop looking for shortcuts, and start doing the work, even when it's boring, even when it's lonely. Discipline becomes your identity. Solitude becomes your sanctuary. And every time life knocks you down, you rise again, stronger, quieter, more focused. Because now, you don't fear failure. You've danced with it. You've looked it in the eye and said, try me. And the world? It begins to respond. Not because it's fair. But because the universe bends to the will of the relentless. You start getting small wins. Noticed by the right people. Opportunities show up, but they're not magic. They were always there. You just weren't the version of yourself who could see them. Now you are. Now, your eyes aren't clouded by ego or excuses. You've tasted rock bottom and realized, you didn't die. You adapted. And now, you're becoming something terrifying. You're becoming unignorable. Because you're not just building success. You're building a mind no one can break. A focus no one can shake. A character that walks into rooms and doesn't need to speak to command respect. People will ask, what happened to you? And you'll smile. Because they'll never understand the nights you cried yourself to sleep. The mornings you wanted to quit but didn't. The sacrifices no one saw. Let them wonder. Let your silence be your revenge. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need approval. Because you know what you paid. You earned this. Not with luck. Not with privilege. But with pain, patience, and persistence. And now. Now you're ready for more. Not because you hate where you came from. But because you finally love yourself enough to leave it behind. So keep walking. The path will be hard. There will be setbacks, losses, days that feel heavier than others. But there will also be peace. Power. Pride. Not in who you pretended to be, but in who you fought to become. You will stop reacting. And start creating. You'll stop chasing, and start choosing. You'll look in the mirror one day, and you won't recognize the person staring back at you. Not because you changed. But because you finally became. This isn't just motivation. It's your reminder. That buried beneath the layers of self-doubt, excuses, and fear. There's a force within you so powerful. So relentless. So destined. That the only thing holding it back was your belief that it wasn't already there. And now that you've remembered, there's no going back. So rise. Again. And again. And again. Until the version of you that once survived finally meets the version that was born to lead.